We are in Weston, West Virginia today, interviewing Joseph Bross for the West Virginia Veterans Legacy Project. Could you please give me your full name as it is recorded on your birth certificate?
Joseph Patrick Bross III.
Do you have a nickname?
Joey.
Okay. Where were you born and raised, sir?
Here, Weston, West Virginia, Churchville Road.
Okay. What was your job or jobs in the military?
It's mainly infantry and sniper instructor, survival instructor, platoon sergeant. I did several. My first duty station was security force company, so it was at a top secret level. You know what I mean, like guarding communications buildings and stuff in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically all I've done. My jobs.
Okay. What was your first unit or duty?
Security Forces, Naples, Italy.
Okay.
That was in '98 to 2000.
All right.
That's where I went to Kosovo. Was in that time.
Okay. What do you remember most about your military service?
Anxiety.
Uh-huh.
A lot of anxiety. I don't know. A lot of camaraderie and anxiety, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you serve with any other fellow West Virginians?
Yeah, I did. I mean, not from here, but other places in West Virginia.
Uh-huh. Was there any sort of, did you find any sort of relationship with them any different than the other soldiers?
Absolutely. All West Virginia boys, we always got a certain way, you know what I mean? Like, we all know what's going on. So
Uh-huh.
It's just a different mindset than anybody else in any other states, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
If you're from West Virginia, you know that.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys ever receive any sort of, not harassment, but just picking on by the guys from the other states?
Oh, yeah, of course, man.
Uh-huh.
There was some of that, but, we fought back. We stood our ground.
Uh-huh. Okay. How did you feel about your first assignment?
Combat assignment or duty station?
Duty station.
I was excited, man. It was the first time overseas, you know what I mean? I was 19.
Uh-huh.
I got stationed in Italy. I was like, hell yeah, happy as hell.
Mm-hmm. Had you left the area much before that time?
No, I grew up out Churchville, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was always, I was pretty sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we grew up kind of poor, so it's kind of sheltered out there.
Okay. All right. How did you feel about your first combat assignment?
Nervous as hell. My asshole puckered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was more more nervous before it happened than when it happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You forget about all that. You get in a different kind of mindset.
And was that in Kosovo?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because like I said, I was 19 and I didn't know what to expect. I just knew all the training we've done, but I mean, it was a whole different story when you get there. All that training just goes out the window. Not all of it, but it's just different scenarios.
Yes. Yes.
You can never train enough for what's going to happen.
Is there an easy way for you to describe the differences between the combat you've experienced in Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan?
Yeah, absolutely. Kosovo was more kind of like a peacekeeping mission, like more NATO oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of restrictions, and there was a lot more countries fighting with us. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It was more. We weren't let loose like we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
That's the difference.
You know what? You should be recording. That would be a whole lot
Afghanistan was more mountainous. The terrain was the biggest thing there.
Uh-huh.
Iraq was more the weather, the heat. Afghanistan, of course, too. Afghanistan and Iraq are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, Afghanistan you got more mountains, and Iraq you got more cities.
Uh-huh.
And open space.
With Kosovo, was you out in the mud or anything like that, or was it more in the?
Yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with that area, Macedonia, that area, I mean, it's how do you explain it? It's built up like Cold War style, cities.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they've been fighting for years over there. So it's muddy. It was muddy at times. I mean, it was kind of like a beach landing. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that or not, but first MEU that was in there, we were the first MEU in there. So.
Do you think that terrain? How did that affect you guys?
No, it didn't do anything at all because the terrain in Kosovo was like I said, I was in Italy. It was very similar to Italy. The terrain there, so it didn't bother me.
Okay. What about the terrain and the sand so much in Afghanistan and Iraq?
And that, lucky for me, I was stationed in 29 Palms, California, which is Mojave Desert, so I was already accustomed to that kind of terrain, you know what I mean? And then I was in Bridgeport, California, and I went to Afghanistan, so that's all mountains up there, too. So I kind of got lucky in that sense, you know what I mean?
Did the sand cause you guys personally any trouble with your equipment, your guns and?
As far as a lot of heartache, no. I mean, it was just I was a platoon sergeant, or squad leader at the times. I always made sure my guys kept their stuff clean. You know what I mean, we did have jams every now and then, but it wasn't nothing that was detrimental. It was going to cost another guy's life.
Okay. All right. Can you explain? Did you feel the need to enlist? I mean, when you were 19
yeah.
and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Can you describe? Was it a history in your family or just?
It was more of a personal thing because I was failing out of college. And I've always been somebody that when I want to do something, I want to do it. You know what I mean? So it was like I failed at college, so I felt like a failure. I had to do something. I thought, let's go to the Marine Corps. It's the best you can do. So I went to the Marines.
And plus, it was a job, correct?
Job, exactly. Job security.
Okay. Well, and of course, you were allowed to choose your branch of service, and you said you. This may be a hard question to answer, and you don't have to if you don't want. But what do you remember most about the battles?
Most things. Probably the intensity. Like, does that make sense? Like the intensity, the nervousness, I guess. How do you explain it? I don't know. Just you get to this point to where you get, like, before you go out on a vehicle patrol or a foot patrol, of course you're going to be nervous before you go, but you can't show that to your guys, you know what I mean? Like, I'd say the biggest thing is that you have to cover up your real feelings. You know what I mean? You have to make yourself into a different person, like, if that makes sense at all.
I see. I've heard it described exactly that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Okay. After the engagement, how did you and your guys reduce any stress, if you were able to, or kind of soften the impact of the combat?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes
and talking, you know what I mean? That was it. There wasn't no crates of beer and liquor like Vietnam or nothing, you know what I mean? Which we couldn't just come home or come out of the battle, which it should have been like that in some sense, you know what I mean? A little R&R, but we didn't have that R&R. It was just straight going.
I've heard that alcohol was restricted a lot. I mean, especially in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Absolutely. There was a couple times there was some drug problems with opium and stuff like that, but I mean, as far as alcohol, it was very constricted. Drugs, anything was not tolerated.
Yes. Was there any time there that you guys were allowed to drink?
No. We came back, we stopped in Shannon, Ireland, and we drank a couple beers at the airport, and that was it.
Okay.
Besides the bootleg liquor that people would find out in the city and stuff. But that was neither here nor there.
Yes. Okay. Do you have any feelings that you'd like to express about the overall mission that you were part of in any of those scenarios?
What do you mean, as far as like what kind of feelings what did I have?
Yes.
The instructions were pretty clear in what we had to do, you know what I mean? Because I had a great battalion commander, great company commander. They were awesome. I mean, they were definitely war dogs. But the feelings I had was just personal feelings. I mean, it wasn't nothing feelings towards anybody. It was just my personal feelings. I don't know how to explain that. There was never any confusion on what I had to do, you know what I mean? There was confusion on the big picture of why we were doing it, but there was never any confusion on the elements that I was in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. How long after after combat were you ever able to talk candidly about it?
Just recently, man. Just 7 years.
Uh-huh.
7, 8 years.
Okay.
After the fact.
Okay. What was your well? You've expressed that some, but what was your overall opinion of the officers that you've had throughout?
I had awesome officers. There was one or two that was, you always got your one or two ugly ducklings, you know what I mean? But they, my overall view of them was very good. I mean, the Marine Corps does an awesome job of putting officers through. I mean, it's a very hard program for officers, and they're very selective in who they put in that program. So, I mean, I really can't complain about them, because if they were bad in one area, they'd be awesome in another area, you know what I mean? So it all kind of comes together.
Okay. Were you aware of any of the officers that had been promoted from the ranks?
No, you mean from enlisted to officer?
Yes.
No.
Okay. All right. Did you work side by side in any of your missions with foreign nationals?
Oh,
You
yeah,
mentioned
all the
in
time.
Kosovo especially.
Yeah, all the time. Well, every conflict actually. There was more in Kosovo probably.
Okay. Do you have any memories or experiences or opinions of your interaction with these foreign nationals?
Yeah, they're not as disciplined as we are. They're not. I mean, you know what I mean by discipline, right? They're just not as cut and dry. They're not. I don't know how to explain it. They're just not as disciplined as the Marine Corps is. You know what I mean? Actually, in that case, the Army isn't, or nobody is. You know? And I'm not being cocky. I'm just being honest.
Yes, yes. Was there ever any problems with your superior officers and the foreign nationals officers?
No, they were very respectful. I mean, they had a lot of respect for us. We gave them a lot of respect. You know what I mean? So there's never a problem with respect. There was never any problem. I mean, we worked real close to British Royal Marines a lot. You know, I mean, England was a very strong ally, of course. We know that.
Did you work with any women?
Yeah, not much. I mean, there were some female dog handlers, you know what I mean, vehicle checkpoints and stuff, but not really. No, I really didn't. I mean, never, really. Because I was infantry and we don't have women in that. So.
Did you ever witness any interaction between women and the foreign nationals?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Did you take part of in any actions at night?
All the time, just as much as the day, if not more.
Is there any way you could describe the differences between the day and the night?
Yeah, the complexity. It was a lot more complex, you know what I mean? It was, of course, your vision. You got to have night vision goggles. The communication's not as good. I mean, you have to be really fine-tuned when you're training to really do a good job of what you're doing, you know what I mean? So I'd say the vision, the communication, just everything is harder, you know what I mean? Because you got to be more discreet about what you're doing, obviously.
So everyone, you and everyone in your unit both would, they would have operations during the day and at night?
Yeah, oh yeah. Just 24 hours, man, non-stop.
Okay. Can you describe what it was like to return home throughout? I know you got leave in different times.
Honestly, I was kind of just not happy. Like, you know what I mean? I just wasn't happy. I drank a lot, partied a lot. But that's really all I did, man. I wasn't excited. You know, I was more excited to come home when I was there than whenever I got home. I wasn't, if that makes any sense at all. Like, when I got home, I was just like, oh, it's whatever, you know what I mean? And I'd love to be back. Like, I'd rather be there than here. Does that make sense?
Oh, I've met several guys, recent guys that they stress they want to come home while they're there, and then now they're back. They've been back for a couple months, and they would like to be deployed again.
I'd love to be back over there. Love it. I'd give anything to go back over there, man. Anything.
How was the welcome though from your friends and family?
Well, I was in California most of the time.
When you came back?
Yeah, so it was, it was pretty hard for them to come out and stuff. And but the friends, it was good. It was good. I mean, the Marine Corps Community Service did an awesome job of always welcoming us back. You know, I mean, we always had highway patrol leaders back and all that, so it was great. I mean, the communities would be out with signs and stuff.
You take part of any parades or anything like that you can remember? Or?
When I was in France, I was in a memorial for the Memorial Day weekend
Uh-huh.
a couple times for World War II and all that.
Uh-huh.
I was in my dress blues and we did color guard and rifle detail.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool.
Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to add or any possible advice that you would like to give to individuals that are currently serving or thinking about entering the military?
Just do what you think's right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do what you think's right. And when you come down to that split decision, you got to do what's going to save your ass and what's going to save everybody else's ass. You know what I mean? No matter if it's right or wrong, if it's your decision, it's going to be right. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong.
Okay. I'd like to thank you for your service to our country, and I'd like to thank you for especially taking time to do this interview for us.
No problem.